it's Ala. Today you may have noticed that the brand new Season 14 has just come up today. I think it's just started. I've only just started looking into it myself. As you've seen from the video, I'm going to cash in on a video quickly while I'm working on the part 2 of my all events video. And today I'm going to be explaining how to get perfect armor in this game. If you don't know how armor works, it's something that you can equip. You get 5 different pieces. I'll show them off real quickly. So you have the helmet, the chest plate, the leggings, the boots, and the cape. And with these armor pieces, you can get defense, which basically reduces the amount of damage that you get when you're hit with a bullet. Generally, I don't see much of a difference in it, although there is a bit of a difference when you have it maxed out. However, I'm not going to be going through defense today because a lot of people don't wear armor for that. What you can wear with armor is that, let's say I open this piece here, you'll have only 5 defense. While if you look at other pieces, they have 1 buff and sometimes even 2. And this is done by something called a reforge. So let's have a look at a helmet piece here. So as you can see, we have a Decider helmet. We can reforge it now. And notice we got a bad buff there. However, sometimes you'll get a reforge that has 2 buffs or 3 buffs. And if you get a reforge that has 2 or 3 buffs and you don't have that already, you should activate it. This is so that you can always get 2 buffs after you do the spins. So for instance, this one has 2 buffs and I'm always getting 2 buffs after I spin. The same applies for the third as well. Let's look at helmet. I'm not really touching. I'll do the cape. It's fair, okay, because I'm working on it. So we have this effective range and fire rate. Not what I wanted, but as you can see, when you do these spins, you get more buffs as time passes. So there's some things that you need to know when it comes to reforging armor, because you can't just reforge armor willy-nilly. You don't want to blow all your coins, because reforging is quite expensive, because it's 500 for a reforge of all 3, but if you want to lock a stat, it's 2,000, and to lock 2 stats, it's 5,000, so it's quite expensive. It's more expensive than a lot of weapon upgrades, actually. So what you want to do is you need to know about what buffs go on what pieces, because not all buffs go on every piece. And to start off, I'll explain that with the helmet, you can only get power, accuracy, range, and knife range. Whilst for the chest, you can only get armor penetration, accuracy, and clips. And for the leggings, you have fire rate, clips, and reload. And for the boots, you have reload, armor penetration, movement speed. And for the cape, you have fire rate, power, effective range, and knife range. However, for all of the pieces, which I'll go through just now, you can also get something called blast range, and this is where the range of the bomb's explosion increases. You can get them on all 5 pieces. So for this set, the musical set, you can see that I have blast range on all 5 of my pieces. So that adds my blast range from 9 to 10 to 14 to 15, which is a big difference. You may also see that this logo here with the 3 squares. I'll go through this in a bit. But before you need to know anything about the buffs, you need to know that certain weapons also have different variations of the buff. So for instance, this power buff is 4 for all of them, and for the shotguns it's 16. So for power, the ARs and the SMGs have a 4 buff, while snipers have 10, shotguns have 16, and machine guns, pistols, and all have 4. And for fire rate, you have 6 for ARs and SMGs and machine guns, 2 for snipers, 3 for shotguns, and 3 for pistols, and 3 for all. Whilst for accuracy, which is, I'll show the best one for rifles because that's probably the most important actually. For accuracy, you get 5 on ARs, 6 on SMGs. You can't get an accuracy buff for snipers. Shotguns, there's 4, same with the machine guns. Pistols have 5 and all has 3. The accuracy buff I'd say is the most important on rifles because rifles are quite inaccurate. And usually when you're doing a rifle setup, which I'll go through in a bit, that's usually what you have to go through first. For clips, it's a bit different. So you see there's 9 here. ARs and SMGs have 9. Snipers have 3. Machine guns no, machine guns have 10, shotguns have 3, and pistols have 5, and all have 3. For armor penetration, this one is actually quite alike for all the pieces, actually, if I look at where the armor pen is. Yeah, so 5 is pretty much on every weapon type except all, and for reload, it's 6 for ARs, SMGs, machine guns, and 4 for snipers, shotguns, and pistols, and all. Effective range is a bit different. It's quite low on all of the armor pieces, actually. So you only can get 2 or 1, and you can get 2 on ARs and snipers, machine guns, and pistols, and all. Whilst you can only get 1 on SMGs and shotguns. So it's kind of weird because effective range as a buff is only really useful on SMGs. And you can scroll back to this part, I have effective range 1. So it's actually better to get the all buff for effective range because you can get an extra piece of effective range from doing it. Movement speed is all the same as well. So if I go to movement speed, it's probably around here somewhere. Yeah, so it's 5 and 5 for everything. Blast range, you can only get it on thrones, of course, so I put that on every piece. And attack range, which is for knives. I don't know if I have one over here, but I'll put a picture up on it. That's for knives, and that increases the range of the attack when you're using a melee weapon. So instead of attacking from, say, 3.5 like blocks, I can't really say it's blocks, I'd say it's a bit less than blocks. But if you have that and then 2 attack range buffs, you can attack from 5, and the range difference is actually quite big. I'll put like a comparison up on screen. So what I'm going to explain is what the best stats are after season, because everybody is playing season now because it's back up. What I would start with, even though I've not done it for the rifle pieces as I have the rifle buff, if you're going for a power buff for ARs or SMGs, don't get power up for ARs or SMGs. Get power up all, which is this one. These 3 squares, that's all. Because it's worth the same. But power up all is also useful because weapons that don't have a buff on armor, such as specials, will be affected by it. So the salvation here, I have 2 S-Bells, but I also have 2 power alls for the bombing set. And when I wear that, and I have +8, my salvation has 50 power, and these 2 S-Bells, which is the highest damage static power buff, excluding like the long range and the short range, you get +40%. So it becomes quite powerful. It can 2-shot people with weaker armor, but it can consistently 3-shot most people if you have these buffs on. For fire rate, I don't think I have a clip on this account of armor for snipers, but if you're using fire rate buffs, get them for ARs, always get them for ARs, because they're very important. And if you're using a custom like you are in season, because season's more focused on customs, you want to not get as much on the power of the fire rate. You want to put it all on the clips and the fire rate and the reload and stuff. This is because you won't be using up all of your season, custom buff points on other stats like clips, which wastes points because you're not putting it on your power. So if you have clips 18, which is 9 and 9, you can get basically 2 extra points on power because 2 points on clips is +20. So that's more important. And if you want to say try something like armor pen, you don't need to focus on armor pen. Fire rate is also important. Well, a lot of people just max the fire rate anyway. Having a fire rate buff of +12 is quite important because when you have +12 fire rate, again, you don't have to use it all on your fire rate. You can add more on power. So as you can see by these customs here, I have 136 on here, which is normal, but for lower ones I have 120, but the power is a lot higher. And for this one I have 128, but less clips because I have clips 18, and I still have more power than the rest despite it being faster. And the accuracy is also there as well, it's different. So this one's 84, 88 and 84 again. With having all these buffs in, it makes the customs quite powerful. So if I just trial the customs right now, oh, wrong button. 70 damage pretty much for everything. Vaporizes. And let's try the Shogoki. While this has two S-cons on them, I prefer to have S-con and S-bal. It will still two-shot, but it'll be more consistent that way. But if you have two continuous shots, it does more power. So if you aren't worried about hitting that first shot where it barely does any damage, then you won't need to worry. Going back to the armor now, if I go to the shotgun set, this one is also important, because if you're working in zombie mode and you want to have level 100 in zombie mode, do it quickly, you should get some shotgun buffs. This is very useful because the power buff for shotguns is the highest of all the weapon categories, and if you add all these stuff together, you know, like clips, reload, movement speed, it reduces the time as well. So a lot of people like to speedrun the zombie mode, you know, level 100. So by having a fast reload and huge clips, you're less likely to have frozen time, you know, on reloading your shotguns or by changing stuff around. And that's mostly why people use shotguns mostly. I don't really use shotguns much, but I have this perfect set here, you can see it. For bombing, I usually like to have a hybrid, so like, you know, if I'm using bombs on season, I might have like an armor piece that has blast range, but the rest is normal. With these pieces though, the clips all and the armor pen all and the power all, this actually adds more bombs when you throw them. So I'll just equip these and try a bomb in the store. Thrown oak barrel bomb. As you can see, I have 18 in my hand right now, which is, I can just start throwing stuff. And you have like 3 or 4 bombs in your loadout, you can basically just throw the bombs like really far. And let's test like the blast range as well, by the way. So as you can see, like we're going quite far. It's hard to position because they all, you know, roll all over the place. Let's see if I can blast through this wall, actually. I probably can't. I'll get a clip of me like doing it perfect or something. I'm really bad at this. For other pieces, I'll go on to snipers and I'll just cut off and show that for a sec. And we're back. So for my Allaire account, let me put all this back on. I put all the sniper stuff in Tesla. Nothing like good, it's just that it's right at the top, so I know where it is. So the most important stuff you want to do for sniping actually is to go for fire rate all instead of fire rate for snipers, because you get fire rate 2 on snipers, but you get 3 for all. And so instead of having a max of 4, you can get a max of 6. And the difference is actually a lot different when you have the 2 bits together, because the fire rate on snipers is that low that any buff is just a godsend, basically. But with plus 6, like I'm showing here, I'll just equip these 2 pieces. I'll go to the store. You can see this AWP has a fire rate of 25, but with plus 6 it has 31. And the Lucky Shield has a fire rate of 30, so it's quite fast now. If I try it with, let's say, the SVD, which I'll do now. It's right here, which has a fire rate of 36, it becomes 42. I can't aim because I'm spamming this button so fast. Then if we try the Lucky Shield, I know where to trial it actually. It'll be in zombie mode, the rewards, yep. This one's probably the more important one, people like this one more. It's just like fun to mess around with. For the other pieces, you can just play around. I prefer to have the power, because if you have power 20, you know, 10 on here, 20 on here, you can make really weak snipers that don't one-shot, you know, like the Star Sparrow, where they shoot really fast. You can make them 2-shot. And, well, not even 2-shot. And then if you have cards, you can pretty much make them one shot, and it's super fast. It's more like a novelty though. A lot of snipers don't actually use fire rate armor. Well, not fire rate armor. They don't really use armor except the fire rate armor because the rest don't really matter to them. Then I'll probably next go through the SMGs, which is another important weapon category actually. For SMGs, the buffs for SMGs are quite important, so I will be explaining them a bit longer. So I'll just cut to them real quick. And I'm back again. For this piece, I have the SMG set in Tesla because it's just at the top. How you will treat an SMG set is very different than how you will treat a rifle set. This is because SMGs have maximum accuracy most of the time, and they are naturally quite fast, and they have a big clip. So you don't have to waste, your buff points on... You don't have to waste your buff points on getting accuracy or getting clips or reload. I get clips because I like to just hold my fire forever, as you can see in the set. But we have effective range and power, armor penetration and clips, fire rate and clips, armor pen and movement speed, and fire rate and power. It is possible, I think I haven't mentioned this yet, but it is possible for two stats of the same type of different weapons to stack. So if I go to down where the... where is it? Here. You can see that the fire rate all and the fire rate for snipers are stacked. This one is quite important because you can get more than usually the default limiter can. However, big disclaimer, you can't do this if you do the lock feature. If you do the lock, you can't get it. You can only get it on 500 spins or ads. This means that it's really rare to get. Oh, low battery. It's really rare to get, and it's very unlikely. But if you can do it and you have the coins to waste, you might get lucky like I did with this one. If you like what I've been doing for SMGs the past say 2 or 3 months is I've been trying to get a power stack, power all and power SMGs, because effective range isn't really that useful compared to power. And if I had power 16 on SMGs, they'd pretty much hurt like a rifle. But other than that, those stats are really, really rare. But in terms of playing it in season, you will need those power stacks if you plan to main SMGs in season. If you're using ARs, go through all of these sets that I said. And if you're working with customs, you could, do what I did and focus on clips and other stuff as well, so you don't have to add them up later. This can mean that a lot of the customs that I have, the custom SMGs, they two-shot at decent ranges because I have all of these stats on everything else. In terms of the power, I'll probably have some clips of me demonstrating all of the armor sets now, so I'll probably just go through them now, and then that'll be the end of the video probably. This is the Starshine SL with an S-Bal and S-Con on the SMG armor. I don't have 2 continuous shots, sadly. The cards on this account suck. I'm trying not to get headshots here, so that's why I'm aiming a bit weird. Because I don't want to, one-shot people. Because if you do this, they one-shot and it's wasteful. But as you can see, the power is quite high. I will say though, this SMG isn't the highest in power. If you tried it with something like the Briefcase, I imagine that with the best cards and good power, that would 2-shot all the time, or 3-shot as well, which would make the gun quite OP. It's quite OP. Next I'll show off the rifling set. I'm quite lucky that the Battle Pass has come out, because this Furnace rifle has a quite slow fire rate of 100. So I'm going to show you the difference with having fire rate armor on and a max rifle set. It's quite fast now compared to what it used to be. Although this probably won't be usable in, say, proper situations. This is my all shotgun armor with a custom shotgun. This is a bit different because I have 2 S Rampage cards on it instead of anything else. Why did I choose Rampage shot, you might ask? If the headshot buff is just like a small buff. It's important because with the headshot buffs the Rampage shot gives, It allows me to, you know, shoot out of range. So as you can see, I'm killing from range here. But if I go over here, I'm still, you know, dealing massive damage even from further away. This is because the rampage shot is taking advantage here. And I have an S and an A. If I had 2 S's, I'd be able to kill from even further from where I'm standing. So this makes your shotguns actually quite powerful at a further range if you didn't know about how to play with shotguns. This is more just like showing off all the shotgun sets anyway. I'm going to go back to the main menu now. That's all I have to show off for the armor now. As you may have seen from all of the filler videos I've been making, I've been S-ranking a lot of my guns. I haven't been slacking off. I have been filming the part 2 of my all events video. It's taken a hell of a long time. I actually think it might be split into 3 parts because of how big it is. And for sort of like just a small update, I also managed to achieve 250 S-guns, which is a huge list. So I have like all of these like customs now. And see, it just keeps scrolling and scrolling, but other than that, that's all I can really show off for armor. How you do the armor first is up to you, like what stats you want to start with. Best idea is to start by doing 500s, wait till you get the free buffs, and then after you get all the free buffs, just get as many buff combos as you can, and then when you get the buffs that you want, just use the lock feature to add more onto your stats in the future. Other than that, that's all I can really show off for this video while I go work on other ones. I hope this video has kept you guys occupied. So other than that, thank you for watching, and I hope to see you again soon.